And using certain magic in Diffie-Hellman, the two of us now know each other's IP addresses. And no one else in the room can ever figure them out. I don't care if the NSA, GCHQ, and the French guys and a few others get together and invent a quantum computer. Haha. They managed to do that? They still don't know. 100 years from now, they have no idea what our IP addresses were. That's called privacy. So, we can embed that and do it. And we can integrate domain names with the AAAA standard in v6. We can exchange information, keys, IP address, domain names, emails, WhatsApp addresses if you put them on, anything. You can pay for access. It could be 1/100 of a cent. To stop spam, I can have small payments on email. I can have people communicate and want to gain access, and I could put a paywall in front. I could equally allow access based on types of identity or attributes. And I can say, I only want maybe people from the IEEE to communicate with me. And members could use a token, and that token could gain access. And I could be in a group that I choose. This is what decentralization is about. It's not DAOs. It's not unauthenticated groups of partnerships. It's people choosing how they will negotiate, setting the rules of negotiation. Not ruleless societies, ones where groups form their own constitutions. Corporations, associations, all sorts of things. Now, IoT. These machines here are going to be growing faster and faster. By the end of this decade, we're expecting probably 10 billion plus, then 100 billion plus, and it will only keep growing. Every smart city, every vehicle, every other item is going to start communicating and updating. In time, I see handbags. Why? Because people want Veblen goods that they can show off. People want to have an expensive Hermes bag and prove it's not a knockoff. If you're going to spend $30,000, God knows why, on a handbag, you want to show that you actually spent $30,000 on a handbag. It's a form of insanity, I know, but people do it. So you don't want people thinking that you have a copy. You want them thinking a real one. Every device can be integrated. And using technologies such as multi-level controllers, get rid of the idea of centralized. If you're controlling things in your home, it's centralized. You have the master and you have the control. How many people here, put up your hand, if you want to form a decentralized community that has rights over your door lock at home? No? How about your bank accounts? How about you decentralize your bank account? It's centralized right now. So rather than that master, where we have a model, we just decentralize it all. We allow all of the control to everyone. What we really want to do is have control by the owner. So we want an architecture that is distributed across multiple machines, multiple devices, and the attributes you have access things. So if I want access because I'm a member of a society, I can use an attribute certificate. Rather than saying, I'm Craig Wright, I could prove I'm a member of the ACM. I'm a member of the IEEE. And I could sign up on that. And then, that's it. That's the information I give out. So I want to do things like paying for printing. Then I should be able to. And I should be able to pay and have it delivered when I want, from where I want. I want to have control over performance of contracts and manage what happens. That doesn't mean that I make it a smart contract only. It means I have all the negotiated agreements in there. If I want a British court, I negotiate that a British court can decide. If I want a Saudi court, I negotiate that. If I want arbitration, and this is what agreement's about. This is what a contract is about. If we are negotiating and we both agree that any issues will be arbitrated by a certain class of arbitrators in Britain, then that's called a contract. Jurisdictional clauses. It's not the Americans get to decide, it's you do. You put these things into contracts. When you're doing this and you're creating these things to license software, to license video games, to control what you create, you choose. If you're a content creator, the rights you have should follow through with the items you have. One of the reasons when I put out a patent for NFTs in 2016, and I did, it was in the ERC 721, 18 months before that, there's an in-chain patent that is now this year granted. I talked about boring things. I talked about the rights of artists to control how their intellectual property is on sold. I talked about the rights of people doing concerts and whether you could resell the tickets as a scalper. Yes, terrible scalpers will lose money. But what about the performers? The people doing the hard work of the concert, shouldn't they choose how their tickets are resold? Really? So we can do things like signing software, making sure that it's secure, making sure that no changes occur so that we don't have malware on our machines. We can control digital artwork. Apart from boring apes, there are actually some good artwork digitally. They haven't been sold in NFTs yet, but they could be. We can have individual access. NFTs, the way that they're implementing digital art, suck. What should happen is not only the rights, but the access to the artwork should be controlled. You should be able to own that piece of artwork and restrict and limit access to yourself or anyone you share it with. If you want to give a copy for a week, that should happen. It should make things like a physical item. That's what I envision. Control to the owner, the user, the creator. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wright. Pleasure to see you. Lateef, come up. So, wow. So, Bitcoin leader, creator, leader of IPv6. You've met and will be working together to bring this vision together. So we all wish you good luck and are participating in the journey. Lateef, very quickly before we wrap up, Craig is not used to and not very good at working with people and asking for help sometimes, as we all know who know him. Now that you are helping us on this journey, what would you say to Craig?
Yeah, I guess I discovered a highly intellectual person. Obviously, he has been hacked for a long time. That's why he has to be rigid and strong. And he's very sensitive, which is not very good for researchers.
Satoshi is sensitive.
Yeah, he is. That's why he can be sometimes brutal in his language. But he fights for really big cause.
Yes.
And obviously, when you have, I'm not going to talk about BTC and that kind of stuff. Obviously, it's about billions of dollars. And he says, no, that's wrong. Obviously, you get enemies around the planet for nothing. And that's most probably the cause. But, you will win, that's for sure. Okay?
So that is why we are very pleased that Lateef and the IPv6 Forum have agreed to work with our organization, the BSV Blockchain Association, to drive education, understanding of the combined power of IPv6 and the Bitcoin blockchain at scale in the form of BSV all around the world, including in events like this. So it's the union of two considerable forces, and we can't wait to go make a world of good with you.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
It would be really nice if we got a HTTP payment required error
Yeah, 402.
that you could actually go click and pay. Wouldn't that be amazing? This thing that's been there in the internet for 25 years, if you could finally actually click and pay.
He's talking about an error code put in the HTTP protocol 402 that's never been used, reserved for use, where if you're trying to access some web node that it requires a payment. That's because the internet protocol did not have a native way to send peer-to-peer payments. Bitcoin solved that.
It did.
Thank you very much.
Right now, millions are building the Internet of Value. But the best version of this inevitable future isn't possible unless the data that fuels it can be exchanged securely and with confidence. This is a critical moment in defining our shared future. That's why nChain offers the tools to protect the data we'll need to build that future. The Internet of Value works because we do. Join us in securing the tomorrow we all share. nChain. Data without question.
Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin wallet, blockchain, stablecoins, MetaNet, the evolution of money. Everybody is talking about Bitcoin today, but what exactly is it? Learn the basics from experts. Learn what Bitcoin is, how it works, and why it matters. Bitcoin 101, your ultimate guide to the fundamentals of blockchain.